I do realize that yesterday was the feast of St. Andre Bessette, but he had a great devotion to St. Joseph, and I wasn't here yesterday, so I couldn't preach to you about that. But in thinking of St. Andre Bessette, who built the oratory of St. Joseph in Montreal, in pondering that action, that great devotion to St. Joseph, I find that in that first letter of St. John, it was St. Joseph who shows us the experience of how we love God because he first loved us. I think Joseph's response to the message of an angel, do not fear, Joseph, do not fear to take Mary as your wife, was the response of Joseph hearing the love of God for him, God's protection, God's care. And he received the love of God and could share it with Mary and Jesus and became that holy family. We, too, can look to Joseph to accept the love of God in our lives and to share it. That's the first thought I have for today. The second comes from the Gospel of Luke. I love this passage, and I often picture myself in it. Like, what would I be feeling and doing if I saw Jesus actually in that synagogue, taking the scroll, opening it, and finding the passage, and proclaiming, very simply, those 9 lines. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. And not only speaking it, proclaiming it, living it. And after finishing those 9 lines, or maybe 8, I'm counting poorly here, maybe 7, rolling it up, and he's done. And he sits down and authoritatively says, this day, the scripture passage is fulfilled in your hearing. That's all he has to do. And he commands by the simple presence of who he is, the Son of God, the Son of Mary. He proclaims that this is being proclaimed, promulgating, and living it out. Some years ago, the U.S. Bishops' Conference gave a teaching called Fulfilled in Your Hearing. It was a call for proclaimers of the word, deacons, bishops, priests, that they be duly prepared and filled with this type of authority in their preaching and in their teaching, that they might preach with authority, preach with clarity, preach with devotion, preach with holiness. And so as we hear it today, I ask you to pray for all those who proclaim the gospel message to you, who preach to you. Pray for them that they might be filled with the Spirit of the Lord, that they might be confident, that they might be clear, and that they might be prepared.